Good morning, Coach Cronin.
What's up, Ben?
Hey, I wanted to follow up on Jaime. We saw his ankles giving him some problems. Is there any thought to maybe shutting him down for a little while, let him rest and kind of recover, get closer to full strength on those ankles?
We do that in practice, Ben. He's very limited in what we like. Yesterday, he didn't practice. He's just on the bike, does shooting. So we're limiting him as much as possible. It's a day-to-day decision with Jaime.
Is this, I looked up that synovitis condition he said he has. Is this something that might be with him the rest of his career? Is there a thought that,
No.
Okay. Okay.
No, he'll get things rectified after the season. He'll be on it. He'll be fine.
Okay. Miles is making a strong case to get even more playing time. How are you what have you thought of his kind of progression and managing that?
I think he's really improved his rebounding. For us, it's the numbers don't lie, right? That's one stat that is inarguable, right? So he's done a great job with his rebounding here of late. And I think he's continued to improve, and it's hopefully it'll continue because we need it.
All right, let's go to Tracy Pearson from Bruin Report next.
Hey, Coach.
Tracy.
So Washington State, that's an interesting team. They had it rolling. They lose 3 in a row. Talk a little bit about them, the job Kyle Smith has done with the Cougars.
Well, I don't really look at the one-loss column in preparation. More, I look at what a team's strengths are, what we need to do to negate their strengths and prepare for them. So Kyle's a numbers guy, so they shoot a lot of threes and they defend the three extremely well. They also defend the rim, so they're one of the better defensive teams in the country. Nobody knows. So I think they're giving up 59 points a game in the Pac-12 play. Their field goal percentage defense is elite. So I mean, they had a game. They held Arizona State in the 20s. So they've held teams in the 40s. I think only 2 teams, in fact, I'm pretty sure I'm right on this. The only 2 teams in Pac-12 play to score over 70 against them were Colorado once. Then they came back and held them to 43. And then Arizona got to 72 last weekend. So only 2 teams have broken 70 against them. So they got 2 rim protectors. They're very athletic. Kyle does a great job, man. He's a good guy. He does a great job. So they're hard to score
on. Best 3-point defense in the Pac-12. What do they do that makes them so good at that?
Well, they're athletic. And they have 2 shot blockers, so they try to get you off the line, and they got 2 guys that can protect the rim. So that's I'm not going to try to pronounce both their names correctly, but they both have multiple block shots. So, and then on the wings, Rodman and Bamba, Noah Williams is long, so as well as their size. So they try to force you into to driving the ball at times into their shot blockers.
All right, let's go to Tarek Fatal from SoCal News Group next.
Hey, Coach. I wanted to ask Peyton Watson, has there been a challenge to get him in games, Coach, or is it a challenge to keep him in games right now? Because I've seen the minutes be real low the last 3 or 4 games. I know he didn't play one.
He's been injured.
Okay.
Before he didn't play, the 2 games before he didn't play, he had already injured his knee, and then he had, as far as USC, he wanted to try to play a big game, but he hadn't practiced for that game.
Okay.
So
I just wanted to check in on him.
Hopefully with he had a great practice yesterday, so hopefully he get back to the progress he was making. But the knee injury definitely slowed him.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Let's go to Sam Cronin from SI.
Hey, Coach.
What's up, Sam?
Not much. So I know after the Stanford game last week, you said that the practice going into it was one of your best all year. And then you've talked about in the past how when you lose a game, it isn't a coincidence that you didn't have such a great practice leading up to it. What do you have to do to make sure the practice effort and the practice production is consistent moving forward?
Well, that's a great question. If we could all bottle the answer to that in coaching, then you really got the magic potion, right? So it's a long season, buddy. I mean, I think what you got to realize is, as a coach, sometimes it's tough to keep your guys at the highest, playing at their best, their highest level of focus. And sometimes it takes adversity to get people refocused. That's just human nature is what you fight. Is really the answer to your question. And it's all of us at every level of sport, in every sport, I think is the hardest thing. To be able to stay at playing at a peak level of mental focus. I'm a big believer in mental state. Hungry teams, humble teams tend to practice well, prepare well. Complacency is everybody in life, whether it's in the workplace or in athletics. Complacency is always your opponent at times. Not even the team you're playing. It's just your complacency of your mental state and your human nature to relax at times. So we'll see. Hopefully we should have we coming off the tough stretch that we've had, and sometimes it's the schedule. It's not how you're playing. It's usually a combination, but we should not have any complacency right now. So hopefully I don't have to deal with that.
Nice. And then Julius Bernard, first 10 games of the year, I think was shooting 46% from three. And since then, he's shooting 18% from three. How much of that is just 3-point numbers go up and down? And how much of that do you think maybe might need some tweaking or fixing, whether that's in the flow of the offense or technical things?
Great question, Sam. But I would, and I'll answer it for you for Jules, but I'll include the whole team. So we were first by going into January, coming out of our COVID pause, we were by far leading the league 3-point percentage. And since then, we've been at the bottom or towards the bottom, if you just go with the games post January on. So I would say it's twofold. I'd say yes and yes to your assessments. Some of it is shot selection. Some of it is the law of averages. Shooting comes and goes like your old high school girlfriend, buddy. So you're still young enough you probably still know yours, Sam. So, so I do truly believe the answer is both. The way to solve it, though, is the hard ones you have to eliminate. Because, if you're struggling, it's one thing, but if you're taking hard ones, it's going to compound the problem. So, but I would say that for the whole team, not just for Jules.
All right, thanks.
You got it, buddy.
Let's go back to Ben.
I think you might have said this on the radio after the game about possible changes with the defense. Is there anything in store that you're thinking of right now?
We won't tell Kyle Smith. No, I mean, Ben, really, we've got to do a better job at times on the ball. We just get taken for a basket. We got to have more pride in our one-on-one defense. And then our weak side help's got to be much better than it is. Our rotation. I don't remember the last time we've rotated and taken a charge. So it's something we've gone over yesterday in an extensive film session. But again, it's like I tell the guys, to Sam's question, Ben, and then to your question, which would be shot selection, guarding the ball, defensive rotations. Those are hallmarks of well-coached teams. So, yeah, I'm upset because I have a lot of pride. I didn't wake up on third base. I had to get guys to do those things to get to where I'm at in coaching. So it's definitely a point of emphasis, contention, and I got to get the job done with my coaching staff so we do a better job at those things. And if I guess if you're saying your question says if that means change in lineups, if that means guys not getting back in the game when they don't take a charge, whatever has to happen will happen to improve those areas.
Tarek, go ahead.
Coach, I was just curious, like after a game like USC or any just, loss or tough one, is it something where do you like watch film that night, Coach, and
Yes.
get in on that? Or is it kind of gonna just talk about what you do after those games, and the rigorous challenges you have?
Any game, I immediately, as soon as I get either on the plane to come home or as soon as I get back to my house, I immediately seclude myself and watch the film a couple times and take notes, win or loss, to answer.
Okay.
So more so, I just rewind it more times than the loss.
Got it.
It takes me a while to get the misery out of my system. Very, very hard to enjoy watching the Super Bowl.
Okay. Yeah. And I guess, I just ask because is that just part of the job, Coach, right? Just the constant wanting to try and get better, or is that something that that's just in you and that's just how you do it kind of thing?
Yeah. I can't speak to other people.
Sure.
Darren Savino, we've been together a long time. He has a term he uses called clearheaded. Clear-headed people still, they don't have stomach problems. They have a full head of hair. They don't stress out. I'm far from clear-headed. So I also think that you have to look in the mirror. I don't think the answer is pointing at players. Sure, you can you can be objective and say part of it's the schedule. We have 4 straight possessions where the ball goes in and out. And then 3 times in and out layups, and then Tiger's free throw goes in and out on the front end of a 1-on-1. Guy has a career night against us, and that's all factual. But that doesn't help you improve. To be, I'm not going to say, well, be clear-headed about it. I try to look in the mirror and, what do I got to do to make sure our team's performing better? So that's just the way I'm wired.
Thanks, Coach.
You got it.
Let's go back to Tracy.
Hey, this season, how unusual has this been in your career when it comes to injuries? You have 2 guys that are out for the season, and then it doesn't seem like you've ever had the rest of the roster healthy. Has this been on the injury-prone side, would you say, for a season in your career?
Yeah, well, combine it with COVID and making an emergency landing with a windshield that shattered at 30,000 feet. It's been a very eventful year, to say the least, Trace. It's been a very eventful year with all that stuff going on. So that being said, hey, man, we still got enough guys to play. And it's my job to make sure that we're playing well. So we've had a tough stretch of games. Hopefully it makes us better. And we use it to improve. But the pointed answer is no, I've never had this many injuries, never. And it's really going back, it started since Chris Smith went down.
You touched on that windshield. I've heard some things that was a really, really scary moment, like a scarier moment that's been talked about. Would you say that was a pretty frightening moment generally?
Extremely. Yes.
Where like possibly your life was flashing before your eyes kind of thing?
For all of us.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.